Dear friends, hello everyone, my name is Alexey Ognev, I'm the CEO of the DigiU ecosystem, and today we have another webinar where we will talk about our projects, more specifically about the RWA projects we presented last week, and where the first funding round is going on right now. And it has a lot of interest from you. It sparked a lot of discussions about the project's potential, when they will be implemented, how they will be implemented, what resources we need. What does it mean, the first stage? Basically, there are many questions we received this week, and we are very happy for that. It means that the projects are actually interesting, and we need more information to understand the market, to understand its perspectives, to understand the opportunities opening up both for the projects and for the DigiU ecosystem, for our technical team, in terms of dividends, and so on. So there is not enough of information, and it's normal. That's how it happens with venture projects. And if we're doing everything in the right way, we will get something unique. That's what the DigiU system is about for about 4 years already. And we have achieved a lot during this time. So what we are going to talk about today? So we will discuss in more detail the RWA bank project, its perspectives and specifics of the first funding stage, its conditions and why these conditions are unique. And obviously, I will answer your questions on the topic of this webinar. And also, we will have a speech from Alexander E. today at the beginning of this webinar. Currently, he is in Dubai at the Blockchain Live exhibition. It's quite a large event, and Alexander will share how the exhibition is going, what tasks he's been working on, and of course, he will touch the topic of RWA Bank. Alexander E. is the Director of Strategic Planning and Development, and we got these directions such as RWA Bank and Marketplace right thanks to Alexander E. Because for sure he knows what awaits the venture market, the IT market, because venture funds are those who are making our future by investing enormous amounts of money into something not really understandable right now, but will be part of our everyday lives in 3-4 years. In the same way as when we used to order a taxi by going out on the street, but right now we are doing everything on our phones, ordering a taxi, ordering food, and so on. And that's how venture funds are making profits from the companies they invested a while ago. This is the simple model of how venture funds work, and we work in the same way. So we invest in new technologies and make profit later. And by going step by step to achieve our goals. So that's an introductory part for those who are with us for the first time. So now let's give the floor to Alexander E. from Dubai. So the second day of the Blockchain Live conference has come to an end, and I'm at the after party, the official one in a different location. So what we can say about the results of these 2 days? Well, it was a great conference. We've met many familiar faces. Of course, there are differences compared to the conference in Singapore. The conference in Singapore is one of the largest in the world. Here there were fewer booths, and the exhibition itself was slightly smaller, but there were a lot of people. Many familiar blockchain projects. Justin Sun is here as well. In fact, we also have plans to engage with Tron. Yesterday there was a separate meeting on the topic of RWA, and RWA in general, it's a trend that the speakers talk about. And there are projects in this area that are doing something in this area. Tokenizing real estate, selling it in tokenized form, for example, hotels and so on. So this is an emerging trend, just like DeFi was in 2019 and 2020. Obviously, this topic is evolving, and the key difference here is that soon the DeFi market will be flooded with asset-backed tokens, meaning tokens backed by real assets, real estate, businesses, intellectual property, and so on. And therefore, we have chosen 2 global directions, RWA Marketplace and RWA Bank, and in the near future, we plan to develop them. These are understandable business models. Everyone knows how traditional banks make money, right? For example, they can provide mortgages backed by tokenized real estate and issue cryptocurrency. People will be able to buy tokenized real estate, for example. This is one of the ways to apply it. And as we mentioned, the products in the ecosystem should reinforce each other. So the marketplace can sell real estate to customers who, for instance, take loans from RWA Bank. But this is something for the future, maybe in a year, 2 or 3. But it's clear that these intersections exist. And we intend to build a business that earns real money, not just by profiting from tokenomics. So this is a clear business model. We also plan to follow a venture model because we have already gained significant experience here. And not everything can be implemented through crowd investing. Nevertheless, we remain true to our mission that ordinary people should benefit from modern technology. So, in the near future, we plan to collect pre-seed rounds for these 2 projects, RW Marketplace and RW Bank. It might be around $1.5 million. This should be sufficient to prepare the infrastructure, assemble the team, possibly obtain some initial approvals, to carry out the first transactions, to prepare for the next stage when we will be close to launching products in the mass market and essentially start earning on it, attracting even more funding for global scaling. Because participating in conferences requires money. These are thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. It depends on the conferences and the level of participation. If you set up a booth, that's a tens of thousands of dollars. But if you simply fly in and buy a ticket, it's thousands of dollars. In any case, it's obvious which trend we are in. So I actually urge everyone to keep an eye on the company's news, listen to what we are saying, and understand where everything is in fact heading. So stay tuned for webinars, stay updated with the news. Interesting news will appear in the near future. Thank you and have a good day. So we've heard another news from Alexander E. about startups, technologies, and he's right at the forefront. And he showed a very accurate analogy. In the year of 2019, we were the first ones to talk about decentralized finance. When we launched our first product, DigiU Wealth, and based on which we started our next project on cross-chain transactions, cross-chain data protocol. And it was not clear for everyone at the beginning. But those who believed in the technology were able to make a good profit from that. And I think you already know about this trend. And the same thing here, the same thing now is happening with the RWA industry. And Alexander E. is already negotiating on these topics. And moreover, he is doing all that on his birthday. So today it's his birthday, and I want to say happy birthday to Alexander. I want to wish successes and achieve all the goals we set for ourselves. But let's go back to the topic of today's webinar, and let's discuss the business model and the trends. So it's an emerging trend that we are studying very closely since the end of last year. When we invested in the Binaryx project in February, we started studying the market, and it became very interesting to us. So a new type of ownership is forming right now. And this type of ownership is backed by real-world assets. And if everything goes well, this market can attract liquidity and funding. So we formed a separate direction, token estate, that studied the real estate market, that studied the customers, how the decisions are made, who are the ones who are making decisions. So the new type of ownership appears, in this case, tokenized assets. And if you watch our webinars regularly, you may remember that about 6 months ago, we talked about the fact that companies have success when they can integrate global and local markets. So always a new type of ownership transforms the existing environment. So when there was a new asset appearing, there was a transformation of the management. For example, gold, options, securities, and so on. And when we look at the tokenized assets as a new type of ownership, that it may become legal, it becomes obvious that the structure that for now we can call a bank is a good decision. And what if we create our first bank of tokenized assets before everyone does this? And this bank will have a customer base. It will be possible to take loans from our bank. And not buy shares, but fully. So we get this idea, and as Alexander E. said, it's quite a clear business model. Everyone knows how banks are making money. Everyone knows how marketplaces are making money. And a few days ago, we published a few interesting posts on that topic. There are thousands of banks in the world. On average, an average person takes about 2-3 loans during his life and pays out about 400 to 600% on this loan. And around 50% of people use banks. And the same story with marketplaces. How many of them there are? What capitalization numbers do they have? For example, Amazon, eBay, and so on. In case of Amazon, it's about $1 trillion. It's about a few $1 trillion. And marketplaces are making money basically on everything. On placement, on advertisement, and so on. And what is more interesting is that all these industries have integrated into our everyday lives. For example, banking system with the deposits and other ways to make income. And the same with marketplaces, when we order goods on our phone and they are delivered by the door. You don't have to go to shops. So it became obvious to us that The business model is quite clear. And if we imagine a near future and this new type of ownership emerging now, and if we add these mechanics into a marketplace, we can imagine the following. The purchase of a real estate will be done with just a single click. You will not have to think about how securely, how technically purchase a part of real estate in another country. What would be the percentage if you are eligible for that loan to buy this real estate? Because everything is being simplified. And many professions will soon disappear, like brokers and so on, because everything is replaced by smart contracts. And we also need to take into account the integration of digital currencies. Russia and India and other countries are already testing these digital currencies. And if we add all this up, we can think of the probability of appearance of such banks. And would you like to be co-owners of such projects? Would you like to be users of such projects? Would you like to make transactions, tokenize your own assets with just a single click? Conduct deals and make profit from such deals, or expand your portfolio, increase your financial capital of your family. So there is a huge potential. And we already have some projects we launched on the market that went all the way from an idea to the launch. For example, EYWA. And everything took 2 years. Many have connected their lives with decentralized finance and are studying this market even today. We have experience, we have expertise, we have resources, and we still have time, and it's a key factor at the moment. If we look at the forecast for this market, some people say there will be a growth in 2024. We think it will be in 2025, but it's inevitable. and to have a marketplace and a bank on this market. It means to secure a financial stability for the ecosystem and for everyone who will own this project directly or through our shares. So we've been working on the concept of the bank for a few months already. We are also working on the financial model, on the roadmap. And we see that we need a certain amount of resources to implement everything. And we have decided to launch this project through our venture capital fund, using the same model we did in the EYWA project. First, by attracting funds using our venture capital fund, and then attracting professional market players and experts. Basically attracting those experts that you cannot imagine any successful company today. Because venture funds invested in such projects as in Amazon, ChatGPT, and so on. So let's look at the plan of our venture capital fund. It's 5 projects this year. The first one is Binarix, then SpiritMe, RWA Bank, and RWA Marketplace. And also, we will work on the AI industry. Most probably, we will concentrate on our in-house technologies. And I think this 5th project will be related to RWA Bank and RWA Marketplace, respectively. I think very soon we will conduct a webinar with Peter, who has extensive experience. And I want to say that the banking system uses AI in their everyday operations, like predictive analytics, newsletters. And that's why we will try to integrate all these technologies into our projects. So we will develop this field step by step. And we will talk about the artificial intelligence industry in the future webinars with Peter. Now let's look at the RWA project. And many people asked, what is pre-seed and what is this first financing round? To be honest, everything is clear. Now, as I said before, we are at the initial stage of this project. And everyone understands the business model and the perspectives of this project. Now let's talk about the details. And launch on the market. And we don't really we're not really able to answer all the questions. And all the details are under development right now. We don't even know what we will have, tokens or traditional securities. Will it be in the blockchain structure or in a real structure? And I think we will get answers to all such questions in a few months. And during these few months, we will attract funding into this project. And DigiU partners and investors can participate in this round. So this round is open only for DigiU investors and partners. So this initial round consists of answering such questions I mentioned. It includes formation of a team, creation of financial model, possible participation in exhibitions, formation of legal, marketing, and development team, and on the example of EYWA, we see that many resources are needed to implement everything. Most of all in the technical part. So we aim to attract around $1 to $1.5 million during this stage. And very soon we will determine what financing we need. And based on the example of EYWA, we know that 5% we allocate for this stage is enough, is ideal. And we will present other percentages at the end of November. Let's look at how these 5% are distributed in this initial stage. And it's quite clear here too. 50% belongs to the DigiU ecosystem, and another 50% will be gifted during this stage. Why do I say gifted? Because we are not sure how much all this costs. How much does this ownership cost? And that's why we're using a simple principle here. And it's based on the resources we have now. So we have a stable inflow of funding through the sale of our securities. In installments, we have about $2.8 million. And if we do some actions so you close your installments ahead of time, if you increase your packages, we will be sure that we will have enough resources. And that's why we stimulate attracting funds. And as you may have seen, we plan to make 10 deals in the year of 2024 compared to 5 this year. And all the attracted funds this year will be spent on the development of other projects as well. And believe me, we look at other fields as well, such as robotics, predictive analytics, neural interfaces, and so on. But they require even more resources. But now we focus on the fields that are more understandable to us in terms of funds, in terms of first profits. And so we will be able to pay more dividends and gain more profits. So we focus on the money side first. Of course, we want to think of projects that will change the future. But in today's world, if your company doesn't make profit in 1 year or is not interesting to most of the people, it will fail. Again, we need around $1 to $1.5 million for each project. And 50% of the pre-seed round will be gifted to holders of our DigiU shares for any purchase, for those who are participating in this round. And most importantly, there will be a separate section in the personal account, and we are preparing an update to the personal account. So this new section will be called assets, where you will see all your assets, and also there will be a forecast model that will allow you to see how much you may earn in the future. And all those who will not participate in this round will also own this project through our DigiU share, through our DigiU ecosystem shares. So it's a unique round and very beneficial. You just need to pay your installments on time, or buy a new share package, or increase your package, and everything is clear. You don't need to do any additional steps. And in November, you will see your first percentage on your personal account. If you do the same thing in the period of November 1 to November 10, we will also add some percentage to your account. And the first period will be until the October 31st. So to participate in exhibitions and form a team, all these processes require large resources. And already now, in your personal accounts, you can see a detailed information about these rounds. And the ones who will invest who will participate in the round will be able to see the percentage on their personal accounts already on the 1st of November. So you still have around 5 days to participate in the first period. And from my experience, those who act fast get the most amount of profit. So you just need to close your installments or buy a new share package and get a bonus of 25%. And we recommend you to participate now in the first period and also at the second period until the 10th of November. So there are no additional restrictions right now. But in the future, there will be restrictions in terms of payment amount. For example, it will be a minimum of $100. So that's how we stimulate you to close your installment plans. And the faster we receive these funds from installment plans, the better we can invest them. And let's go through the roadmap of the marketplace. So formation of the team is planned for this year, for the end of this year. And we form everything on the basis of token estate. Now we are forming a team of experts, those who will develop this direction. And we plan to sell our first real estate this year or beginning of next year. And we also want to add other assets like precious metals, shares for other businesses, and so on. And all this will be added step by step. And then we plan to connect this business with RWA Bank, maybe in a testing phase or not. Everything will depend on the speed of attracting the funds, because we don't see any challenges in the technical side. But maybe there will be some more difficulties and challenges that we don't know yet about. let's look at the roadmap of the RWA bank. We are developing this direction on the DigiU Wealth platform, which has around more than 2,000 users. So already this year, there will be new products in the form of long-term deposits for 6 months, 12 months, with a possibility to get more returns in Ethereum, USDT, and maybe other assets. We will also add the possibility to farm DigiU shares. And our goal is to form a liquidity pool. And we will share all the information. And introduction of smart contracts and decentralization are obvious steps for the RWA bank. All this should work on smart contracts because it's more open and so there is no human factor. And artificial intelligence can work on that faster and more accurate. And also, we want to launch products in the form of loans, mortgages in a testing phase. Obtaining banking and crypto licenses is also part of our plan. So the roadmap is quite clear and everything seems achievable. That's the advantage for us. It's clear how to make money using which tools. And there's a high probability that all this will lead us to our goals. But of course, there are moments we don't know about. There are risks. But the first ones who go towards all these risks take the most profit. And the relationship between risks and benefits always comes to benefits. And let's look at the first stage, financing, and maybe I will answer your questions. So the first financing stage with no restrictions. The period is from October 20 until November 10. And everyone who makes a payment will get shares of DigiU of RWA marketplace and RWA bank. And as I said, the goal of this stage is to form a team, form a financial model, the financing will be around for 6 to 7 months. But if we attract all the necessary resources for 3 months, it will be perfect, and we will close the stage. We will close the financing. So we plan to close the financing stage in February or March. And if we attract more funds that need it, they will go to our venture capital fund and for financing our other projects. That's the thing of venture funding. It's accessible to everyone. It's simple to do with just a single click. That's how we achieve our mission. So each person benefits from modern technology. And the most important thing that you don't have active overdue payments on your installment plans in your personal account, because in that case you will be excluded from the distribution. Let's answer some questions. Someone is asking if we can take a loan in Vietnam using the RWA bank. The answer is yes. There is no limitations for countries. It will be possible to do for collateral in the form of cryptocurrency or other. And that's the case we talk about the next 1-2 years. And we will also add some features in terms of artificial intelligence, like scoring systems and so on, into our RWA bank. That's how it happens in traditional banks right now. When they see your rating and decide to give you a loan or no. So it will develop in this way, especially with the integration of digital currencies, CBDC. Can I use DigiU shares as collateral to take a loan? As I said, there will be a collateral model. I think yes, you will be able to use DigiU shares. But the question is the proportions. Could you also explain about the 50% of financing and what do you do in the stages? So as I said, in the first stage, we form a team, build a financial model, and work on next stages. And right now you are the ones who can watch how a venture startup is being born. A startup that will soon attract money from venture funds in just a few months. How the initial financial model is being created, and so on. I would like to know if the amount of shares of RWA banks depends on the amount of money we buy. We have partners with different purchase rates. For example, if you joined us 1 year ago, you have one purchase rate. If you joined us 1 month ago, you have another one. So for example, if you paid off your installment plan, if you paid your last installment payment, and especially if you did it ahead of time, you will get the most amount of shares. And therefore you will get more shares of RWA projects. So the easiest way to get the maximum shares of RWA banks is to close your installment plans ahead in advance. And I want to say that we will work not only on the real estate market, but of course it will be our initial step. But we will work in more industries, like placing deposits, taking out loans. So there are many options, many models we can consider. It's a very interesting project and it has a lot of potential. And when we talk about these projects in different events, people want to join this. Again, I congratulate everyone that the DigiU ecosystem is going ahead of the roadmap. And we have already almost achieved the goal of 5 deals this year. We just need to think of the artificial intelligence industry. I'm proud of the DigiU community. I'm proud of the DigiU team. It's been a very successful year, very productive one. It opens up a lot of perspectives. I encourage everyone to hurry up and be eligible for the first distribution and for the second one. You will not get more beneficial conditions. Thank you for today's webinar. Thank you for the questions. and see you next week. We'll conduct another webinar to talk about this topic one more time. And invite everyone who is interested in that. See you soon.